Hey, what's up everybody? This is Metagames for Chris, and this is going to be a kind of a video just to show of a duel that I had recently that really does show off the power of bujins versus such a thing as a meta deck. Now let's see. I'm going against Fire Fist, and he summons out Dragon in sets 4. So pretty much I can assume that he has some back row that is pretty deadly or something of that sort. So I go about my phase. I have an okay hand. I have Honest, Dark Hole. I have a whole lot of defense and a whole lot of anti-summoning. So I go out with Duality just to see if I can get a Yamato, which luckily I do. So I obviously take the Yamato, set 2, and then go for Yamato. Now I set Dimensional Prison and Vanity's Emptiness, and he MSTs. So he probably expects something, so then he Tenkens, so he can get a little bit more attack on me. Forbidden Lance, which prevents me from really dying, from being Fiendish Chained, so I can actually search at the end of the turn, which is nice. So I get my Rabbit, put Rabbit in the graveyard, so my Yamato is safe for the time being until I can get rid of Fiendish Chain, which goes with then Vanity's Emptiness, which a lot of people run Kaiser over that. I prefer Vanity's Emptiness just because, well, in most situations. He goes out to Reborn Tengu, probably for an Xyz, from what I'm assuming at that point. He's just getting out for more OTK kind of stand versus actually Xyzing. He doesn't expect the Honest, but that just, he wasn't even able to get out another Tengu, which was nice. So I can go into my turn pretty safe, put on Forbidden Lance, and that was a misplay on my part, but that's besides the point. So I search out for a Crane, which lets me Honest essentially, because I know that he's going to go out, he's going to go try for Yamato, but he did see the Crane coming, so get Duality, able to get the next 3 card, or get one of the next 3 cards. I go for the Tenki so I can start searching out more, but he bribes me, which was not bad in this situation because I got the sword, which helps me pretty much replenish my bujins, which I use right there because he's going to Yoko to try to destroy my Yamato, which I get rid of Hair to deny that, and then he Dragons, which lets him get back Raven. So I draw Mikazuchi, which is fantastic in this situation, so I can actually get rid of the Fiendish Chain, which I go out to Susanoo, which is your main objective of the Bujin deck essentially, because Susanoo helps out in every single situation because you search out every single turn. Well, as long as you have material, which you do, but then he Tenkens, which is okay, just so he can get a bit more attack. So I search out for Yamato so I can play the Yamato next. And then I end my turn, so he goes into his turn. I know he really can't do much against me, but he does get out the Gorilla, which could pose a threat. I mean, he gets rid of that and then goes out to Honor Arc, which really actually did screw me up, which I did not see coming, because he gets rid of my Susanoo, because I didn't have a turtle in the graveyard, which is one of the things I probably should have expected, but I didn't. But that's okay, because I have Yamato in hand. I MST that just in case, you know, I get out Yamato, I search out a Hair so I can't get destroyed, and I also have the Crane in hand, which he might have forgotten about at that point. But it pretty much just lets Yamato, you see, he forgets about it, so I Crane him, which gets some 1500 on him, but Honor Arc still survives it. I go into my draw phase, and I get Bear, which is quite nice, because I can Xyz out into Beelzebub, which just completely fucks up his field, which probably he wasn't expecting, which Beelzebub really does work, or Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, I'm sorry, that's what YGOPro says. It really works in bujins, because it's just deadly, and you can usually get him out, and you have, 9 times out of 10, you have less cards than him, which I plan on getting for my bujin deck, which I will be doing a deck build momentarily. But he does go out to Black Ship, which puts a dent in my plans, because Black Ship completely got rid of Exciton, which was a good move on my opponent's part. Now I go into my draw phase, I get Centipede, which I don't have much of a really set plan at this point. I'm just trying to get another Yamato because I do have 2 Yamatos in my graveyard at this point. So he tracks into Centipede and then Gorillas for another Tenki, and then attacks for 21, which at this point it's looking quite grim. I do have I have a lot of in my graveyard if I got Yamato or even something that could revive all my cards, because now he's just special summoning up the Wazoo, which it looks quite dire at this point because he even gets out a Tiger King. So at this point I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna lose, but then I draw a Bujin Carnation, which before I actually do it, Bujin Carnation is a fantastic card to make the comeback. It's essentially was just target 1 Bujin monster in your graveyard and 1 banished Bujin monster, which you will usually have. Like I have Hair in this situation, and it gets you out. It's an automatic seize. It's an automatic, not die. You won't lose. So I get the Hair, I get Yamato, and I use Centipede to get rid of that face down just in case. Go to Susanoo, search out for a Crane, so I can honest just in case. I put on Hair on my Susanoo just in case he has like a Mirror Force or something like that. I want to get rid of that card first, but because Susanoo is awesome in the case that I can actually attack all my monsters and also Crane, so he doesn't beat me. Now, it's looking a little grim for him, but at the same time, he thinks he can probably kill it with Tiger King, although I do have the Hair, which I unattached, which I do take 500, but my Susanoo is still out, so that means I can search this turn coming up, which I do get a Bottomless Trap Hole, which comes into play later. So I unattach Yamato, but he effects fails, which is a good play on his part. So it pretty much leaves me to not really being able to do much, because I have both Hairs in my graveyard. So he goes into battle phase, I can't do much, and Susanoo dies, essentially. So again, this is not looking too good unless I draw something like I just drew this, which is Dimensional Prison, which he's just gonna end up walking into most likely. Like, that's what I'm thinking at this point in time, but he gets out Bear, but Bottomless Trap Hole him. If that Bear would have succeeded, he would have gotten rid of Dimensional Prison, would have been game, but I deprison him, and the field is set. It's just pretty much at this point whoever gets the good draw. I get Bujingi Turtle, and then he Solemn Warnings me, which probably was not the best move on his part, but at the same time he still would have lost 1700, so maybe it was a good move. It's just that it really does set me up for the Bujin cards in my graveyard if I get Yamato. So I draw a Fiendish Chain, which will help me stall for another turn, let's just say if he gets a monster. So I just set that, but he does get MST, which he plays subsequently, but at the same time, it's not like he has anything that will be able to hurt me. I get Foolish Burial, it's really the only thing I can do, but I put Zephyr in my graveyard, which will come and play in a few turns, which really helps me go for a game. He sets a card, I'm not too sure what it is at this point, but I do get Yamato, which is essentially just, it would have been game if Mirror Force was not a thing. But so now all my Yamatos are gone, which essentially just means that my Bujin build is completely dead at this point unless I draw something that recycles, which I believe all my resources were gone at this point. Which he's dragging out a Bujin deck, but he denies my duality, but I get to draw a card because of it. Summon Tenki, Gao Zephyr, because I can return any card to special summon him from the graveyard, and then attack for game. That's why Zephyr works in this deck, because you are getting cards into the graveyard, and on top of that, you can just summon out from getting rid of a Tenki, or let's just say even Vanity's Emptiness. And it saved me in this part, which it went for 30 turns against a Fire Fist deck, pretty evenly matched, and it really just, in the end, it was a fun game overall. I hope this depiction, or what I was doing in each turn with my Bujin deck, because this is not a standard Bujin deck, but you'll see a lot of cards shared with other Bujin decks, so this might be able to help you. Or maybe you can see what happens in the mind of someone who is playing Bujins. So if you guys like this, please let me know, because I'm interested in doing more of these, because I could do live commentaries, but at the same time I feel like these depictions will help out the player more. And also, a Bujin build is coming up soon, because I recently ordered my Bujin deck, all my cards that I needed, so a deck build will be coming within next week and a half. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be talking to you guys later. Have a good one.